All right, Jason here from newtonswave, and in this live broadcast I'm going to show you how to trade scientifically, how to trade and make money using sine waves, which are the main force and energy behind price movement. Okay, so let me get straight into this then. Right, this is really interesting, and it took me quite a few years to learn all about the science, right? Probably, like yourself, I was traded primarily on fundamentals. Wherever there was a pump and dump, I'd jump onto that. But but eventually, it's not sustainable, right? Because everyone wants you to put money into their crypto, right? But then a year and a half later, after a lot of study, I actually worked out the science behind what makes the price move. So let me get straight into this, right? So basically, keeping it really, really simple, price movement, the way the price movement works and flows is exactly like the waves of the sea. So what do I mean by that? Well, if you just look at this image I've got here, this is a wave anatomy, right? So a wave is a wave is a wave, right? And as the waves come inland from the sea, from the bottom of the ocean all the way to the sea beach level, that's right, yeah. Okay, you get an incline, okay? And as the waves hit the beach or this incline, it creates waves. That's basically classic physics in a nutshell, okay? Now, the energy that drives the waves, right, is gravity, the moon, stuff like that. The moon, gravity, and then you've got wind, all right? So these factors is what determines the power and the size of the waves, right? Because the more that they're driven inland to sea level, right, the bigger the waves become. Okay, so you're probably wondering, what has this got to do with trading? Well, it is the very heart and the essence of trading. The principle that you're looking at now in this tutorial is exactly the same principle for price movement. So let me take that away. I'll say, let me show you this. Now, just for argument's sake, right, this is Lunk, okay? And this is where we are right now on Lunk. I think we're on 179, okay? But you can see the similarities here, right? This is really interesting now. So, let me just show you the similarities. So let me bring this marker pen on. Let me make it white so you can see it. Here we go, okay? So you get waves. That's all that they are. And basically there's two components to a wave. There's a trough, which is the bottom of the wave, and there's a crest, which is the top of the wave. So let me bring something in now which is fascinating, right? So let me just take that off. Right, now, what scientists discovered is that behind every single form of communication in the universe, whether it's sound, whether it's light, whether it's gamma, whether it's X-ray, those basically particles travel down waves. So this is a wave that you're looking at. So I'm using tradingview here, okay, and this is a sine wave, okay, and it's the frequency and the medium in which price moves, okay? And basically here you've got the crest of the wave, and here you've got the trough of the wave. So you've got a top and the bottom. So let me show you what scientists discovered, because this is really, really interesting, right? Really, really interesting. Let me just get this up, and let me just quickly see if anyone on YouTube, there we go. Hi everyone on YouTube, just waving, saying hello to everyone. Okay, so let me show you this now. This is where it gets really interesting, right? Have a look at this. So let's bring the price of Lunk back on. Now, you'll notice from here to here, if I just draw a quick line, so you see this line I'm drawing here. Now this, we were going to call it, for argument's sake, the beach, incline of the beach. Basically what happens is this. When, let me just change this. Okay, so what happens is this, and this is what you've got to understand. Every day, crypto or shares are bought and crypto and shares are sold. Now, let's say, for argument's sake, today 1 million shares or 1 million crypto were bought of such and such. And on the same day, 1 million were bought and 900,000 were sold. Now, interestingly, what scientists discovered was that leaves a residue of 100,000 whatever in the kitty. So let's move on to day 2. Day 2 comes along. Again, 1 million are bought. Again, 900,000 are sold. It leaves another residue. So over the 2 days, you've now collectively got this accumulation of whatever it is, stocks, shares. But in layman terms, we would call that a positive accumulation. So we now got 200,000 of something. And over time, over days, over weeks, over months, over years, this accumulation can grow. Yes, there could be some deficit in there, but overall, if it accumulates, then what happens is you actually get this thing called an incline. Now, let me come back to this picture here and show you. Now, you see the yellow here, right? Now, we'll call that the beach. We'll call that the beach for real. Keep it really simple, right? And that is how waves are caused. If there was no incline and the sea just moved in a linear motion, and the sea level, the bottom of the sea was flat, it would just forever move in a straight line. But because of the beach, the water hits the beach, and that's what causes the waves. So coming back to here now, right? Back to the price. Let me bring the beach on. Where's the beach gone? Here we go. So there's the beach. And it's exactly the same. The beach represents the accumulation, price accumulation. So if that was your bank balance, and every day you were buying stuff and selling stuff, but you had more in the kitty than you actually spent, then, and that happened day after day, week after week, month after month, the actual accumulation would grow. And that's what the beach represents. So that's interesting, isn't it? But here we get into the waves now. What happens is, right, scientists discovered that behind the price movement is something called a sine wave. And let me just bring this on so you can see. There we go. Can you see that? Okay. And what happens is, due to classic physics, right, everything, as I said, has a crest and it has a trough. And in trading terms, keeping it really, really, really simple, right, everything basically works to a Fibonacci kind of sequence of levels. Okay, on your tools that you use, I'll just bring it on here. So this tool that I'm bringing on is Fibonacci levels, and you've got lots of different Fibonacci levels, right? And and each wave that comes, basically, as I said, the trough will start at 0, then it'll go to 3.16, it'll go to 5, 6.18, whatever, right? But I'm trying to keep it really simple for you, right, to show you how you can predict price movement. Okay, so here we go. So the wave would hit the beach here. That would be your trough. It would then, the crest of the wave would hit here, and you can see right there that right here is the bottom of the wave, right there. And this basically happens again. So that would be wave 1. Wave 2 then comes in. Okay, so there's wave 2. Now wave 2 basically would run the same trajectory and the line as the peak there, and there's the crest of wave 2, and then it crashes down. And what's interestingly, if I bring the waves back on to show you, you'll see here, right, you get a crest, and then scientifically what happens is you get something called, let me turn these off, right? You get something called exponential decay. That's what scientists call it. And basically from here to here, right, the wave basically crashes out. There we go. Crashes out like that. So now if I bring the wave back on, and now watch this, if I turn this to black, let me turn this to black. There we go. You'll see what I'm up to now. Then I'm going to basically rub this out. And this is where it gets really interesting now. Look at this, right? Now let me take the beach off. Well, there you go. Now you can see, right? You can see the crest of the wave. And that's basically how trading works. They're just waves. So the point being is, if you can work out where the first wave is, so in this instance, so let me just show you this. So let me turn that off. Let me take the exponential decay curve off. So we know the first wave is there in this instance on lunk, right? We can now work out where the second wave would be based on the first wave and where it would hit the beach. And that wave would be, oh, where's that gone? Let me delete that. There we go. So now you're going to ask me, okay, Jason, where's the next wave going to hit? Well, let me show you. And this is where it gets really interesting. And this is where the Fibonacci tools come in. Now, there's a Fibonacci tool called the Fib channel. So we bring that in. Let me take the sine waves off. So you can see here, bang, right there. And you can see right here, it beautifully marries up, rather, with the Fibonacci levels, right? So we've got the, so just to recap, right? So let me just show you this. Let me just put that to white because I put it into black. So here, we've got the incline of the beach. There it is. We got the waves coming in from the beach to here. There we go. Now you can see how, right, price movement is just like waves of the sea. See that, yeah? And that is exactly what I wanted to show you in this tutorial, but I'm going to go further than that. I'm going to show you how to predict in any crypto where the price is going to go next. So how do we do that? Well, let me show you. It's really simple. It's really simple once you know how. It took me a long time to work all this science out. But the point is, I wanted to show you that trading is a science, right? And once you start using this science, you can make a lot of money doing it. So let me take these two sine waves away. Now we know the third sine wave would have to follow the trajectory and the contours of these particular two crests here. So let me bring the third sine wave in. There we go. Look at that. So if I just move these crosses here, you can see that the wave hits the beach here. Right there. You can see that it follows the same trajectory as wave 1, which was there. Okay. You can see that it follows the same trajectory as wave 2, which is here. And so here we go. So now we have got the peak of wave 3. So this is where it's going to go to. Okay. So how else can we prove this, right? Well, this is where it gets really interesting, right? So let me just take these things off here. Okay. So not to muddy the water. Okay. And let me take this sine wave off here. Now there's something else in our TradingView toolbox, right? We've got something called trend-based fib times. So you can work out basically, so if I just bring a sine wave on here, I'll just show you something. So basically with sine waves, from this crest here, I'll just move this along, there you go. You can see it a bit better there. Let me take the price off for a minute. There we go. So from this crest to this crest, you've got a distance from crest to crest. Now, interestingly, the distance between the two crests never, ever changes. That's why the universe runs like clockwork. Okay? But the time that it takes to go from crest to crest can change, and that's based on human behavior. So if you imagine as you trade, you imagine as people are trading, right? So let's say that's one rise there, right? And then you've got your linear decay, and people are trading and trading and trading, and then it goes up and up and up again. But you imagine everyone stopped trading, then that is the energy of the pulse, as it were, right? So if everyone stops trading, it would never reach the next peak. So we need all the people buying and selling to get from peak to peak. So why am I telling you this? Well, because what I'm about to show you next is really very interesting. So let me just take this off. And let me bring the price back. There we go. So there's the price. So we've got a tool called, if I can just find it, fib based timeline. So what you do, you put that on the top of the first linear rise there. You then move it, you then move the second to join up. Oh, sorry, I've got the wrong one here. No, it's not that one. It is, oh, there we go, fib-based time zone. So you marry the first one up with the first peak, you marry the second one up with the third peak, and it actually gives you, right, the rise of where the third peak is going to be, which is going to be right here. So look at this. So now when we start to bring all these other tools in, and all the planets start to align, you can start to see, can't you, how accurate, right, these waves are. Right, so if I now bring in the fib channel, there we go. So for me, right, this predicts, right, by using the waves, you can predict where the next peak is going to be. So in this instance, this next peak is going to be around about the 15th of December, right, when Lunk is going to go to about 8, it's on 0.00079 at the moment. So this is going to go to 0.0008. So that's going to be about a 700% rise. Okay, so there you go. So basically that is sine wave, how to trade using sine waves, which is the most accurate way to trade in the world and predict price movement. Now, I'm going to show you one last thing, which is really, really interesting here, right? So just let me take some of this stuff off, right, so it's not confusing for you. Now, you may think, oh, Jason, man, it's really convoluted. You know, how the heck am I going to get my head around all that? That's a lot to learn. It is a lot to learn, but if you want to make money and trade consistently and trade scientifically and completely reduce your losses by 99%, then that's what you need to do. Or you could just do this, right? This is something that I discovered, right? I'm a scientist, and this is what I discovered, right? That whilst there are lots and lots of sine waves, there's one big daddy sine wave. Let me show you this, right? So while there's lots and lots of sine waves, there's one massive electromagnetic sine wave. So let me turn these waves off here. Let me just turn the beach off. Where's the beach gone? There we go. And let me turn the price off. So now, I discovered, and it took me a long, long time, that there's one massive sine wave called an electromagnetic sine wave, right? That is responsible, as we saw, for price movement, right? And this wave is broken down into hundreds and hundreds of other waves. We'd call those like the ripples on the sea. So remember that picture I showed you to begin with? So within all these waves, right? So like, I mean, if you look here, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you've got a wave within that wave and a wave within that wave and a wave within that wave, right? So there's lots of waves within one big wave, right? But the point I'm making is this thing here is called Newton's wave. So if I just bring, let me bring this in to show you. There you go. So this is Newton's wave. And basically, Newton's wave, there we go. There we go. Look at that. So you can see beautifully how it follows the contours of the other waves. All right. But the beauty with Newton's wave is that you don't have to, right, learn all the other stuff about all the other waves, right? So let me explain what I mean by that, right? Okay, so with a wave, remember I told you on the outset, you get an exponential decay curve. So it looks something like that, right? So if we just keep it really simple, that's what it looks like. That's an exponential decay curve. So, so hold on, I've got someone. Hold on, 2 seconds. I've got someone. Maggie, I'm trying to do a live stream. Sorry, I got someone making lots of noise in the corridor there. Right, so that's an exponential decay curve, right? And so basically, waves, each wave that you see, each crest that you see here, oh, that's the wrong one. There you go. In this picture, this wave here, so pretend that was Newton's wave there. Basically, each wave goes up in 3 and comes down in 3. Okay? And it's the same here, right? Waves go up in 3 and they come down in 3. So this exponential decay curve here, you can see comes down in 3. So we've got 1, 2, 3. There we go. Look at that. So basically now, right, depending on what time frame that you're on, you can actually work out where, right, the crest is going to be and where the trough is going to be. So for me, this shows me quite clearly that Lunk has bottomed out. So let's bring the price of Lunk in. There we go. Lunk actually bottomed out on the 13th of November. And it's now starting its rise up to the next crest. So then if I bring all the other stuff in now, so let me just delete that. So if I bring the beach back in, if I bring the sine waves back in, if I bring in the fib time zone, now you can see, right, how all the planets start to align. So look at that. So you can see quite clearly using science, right? Bang, look at that. How to predict exactly where these waves will rise and where they will fall. All right, so let me give you another example of that. So this is SHIB. Right, so let me I'm just going to show you how I would, let me give you a historical example with SHIB, show you how I made a lot of money. So I'm going on to SHIB, I'm going on to 1 day, and I'm going on to Coinbase. Okay, so let me show you how Newton's wave made me a lot of money, right, in one hit. Right, it's made me $190,000, right, this trade did, but I'm going to show you how I use Newton's wave to do it. So here's Newton's wave. Okay, so basically, right, so let me just bring Newton's wave in here. Here we go. So let me just get rid of the price here. All right, so let me do that. All right, and let me make this a bit redder so you can see it. There we go. So remember, so let me just turn the price off, because this is where it gets really crazy, right? So you can use these sine waves, right, to plot your entry and exit points without having to use the candlestick pattern. So we can see quite clearly this would be the crest of the wave. And we can see quite clearly that Newton's wave bottomed out right here, right there. So now, remember, I told you it was 3 down, There's your 1. Here's your 2 down. And here's your 3 down. There we go. All right, and then it bottomed out. So let me bring the price in now. So let me show you. So this is where I would have entered the trade right there. All right. So let me bring the price back in now. So there you can see, all right, I would have made that entire rise there. Boom, to that. And that's exactly what I did. And then I did it again. Now, depending on what time frame you're on, so this is one last thing, right? So I've tried to keep it really simple for you. Now, sine waves, whether they're going up on a linear rise or they're doing an exponential decay curve, they always go up in 3s or numbers divisible by 3. And so what happens with these waves, they go from small, medium to large. So typically they go from 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 up, or the same down. So the reason I've just told you that is because let me show you this next Newton's wave here. So I'm going to turn the price off. So we're going to bring Newton's wave down here, which is here. Look at this, right? So we've got, so this is what I want to show you now. So again, we know that this right here would have been the crest of the wave, and I call that 1. I then would count 6 in this instance, which I will show you about and explain more in another video. But basically, as I said, it goes from small, medium to large. That's to the on an exponential decay or an exponential linear rise. So what we would do, we'd count 6 down on this one. You can come in both points here, but I just wanted to show you this, right? So this is where I would enter my trade right here. Right, so let me now bring the price in and show you how incredible these sine waves are. And there's, look at that. So you could come in at 2 points here. You could have entered here, right, at the bottom of 3, but as I said, everything's at the bottom of 4, but everything's divisible by 3. So I would have come in at this one here, but doesn't matter. Whichever of those were your entry points, right? The point is, you would have got the entire lift up. Bang, look at that. And that is where I made a lot of money on that. Okay. So I'm going to give you one more example now. So I'm going to now just open new layout. I'm going to delete volume. Volume's a load of rubbish, doesn't help you whatsoever. So basically, let me show you how to find setups using Newton's wave. So there you go, there's your wave. Can you see your wave there? Look at that. So here's your wave, right? This is SHIB, by the way, right? Just carrying on that thought of waves. So that there is your wave here. Look at that. And you've got your exponential decay curve here. Look at that. Bang. So when you start looking at things like this, you can see how simple it is, right? But anyway, what I want, so let me go to, let's just think of, let's have a look here. Let's just find a popular crypto at the moment. XRP. Everyone's talking about XRP at the moment. So let's go on to XRP and let's have a look. Let's see where we are using Newton's wave, right? So what I do, I go onto the macro time frames. So in this instance, I'll go on to a month, and then I'll bring Newton's wave in. So again, you can see, just keeping it really simple. Look at this. Right, so I'm going to put that on there. So look, you've got your exponential decay curve. Look at that. There you go. Which is roughly about there. There we go. There we go. So I've lined these 3 up here on the, although you get some little waves that peak up, I've lined it up with that peak there, and I've lined it up with that peak there. There we go. And then it lines up beautifully with this peak here. And you can see beautifully it lines up, look at that, with the trough of the wave there. So there's your, look at that. So you can see the wave there quite clearly, can't you, right? But let's bring Newton's wave in, right? because this is what I use to work out where the peaks and troughs are. So here's Newton's wave. So let me just delete these curves and lines. Let me just take the price off and show you how I would work this out now. All right, so let me just put that in red so you can see that. There we go, look at that. So then what I would do on this, I would count down. So here we go. So we've got 1. So that would be, we know that's the top of the wave. We've got 2. Now remember, can you remember how many down on this particular time frame? Well, it would be 3, it would be 6, or it would be 9. So in this instance, we can clearly see with the exponential decay curve and the bottom of the wave that we would come in at the bottom of 6 here. So look at that. So now let's bring the price back on. Look at that. So we can see that it's actually bottoming out as we speak. It's this is XRP. It's on 0.38 at the moment. So for me, let me just rise this up a bit and show you how I work out my entry and exit points. And so now let me bring the sine waves on so you can see the whole picture here. So we do our exponential decay curve first, which is roughly hold on 2 seconds. Let's just marry these up, something like that. Let's bring the main sine wave in, which would be roughly 2. Let me work this out. There we go. So we marry that up there. That should be roughly halfway, which it is. There we go. So for me personally, right, I would actually enter this trade. So we've done 6, we're coming on 6 down here. This is going to hit about 33, I reckon. So when that hits 33, that's what actually where I would hit the trade, actually enter the trade coming into XRP. So we've seen quite a lot today, haven't we? So I thought I'd show you how I use sine waves to try to trade scientifically. Trading is a science. Coming back to what I showed you here, let me show you this here. Here we go. So basically, there we go. Price movement basically follows the exact pattern of sea waves. That's it. And so if you can work out the trajectory, the incline, the angle of the beach, if you've got a first wave, first crest, like we had on here, which would be here, you can then work out where wave 2 and wave 3 are going to be, and then using your Fibonacci time zones and the Fibonacci channels, you can get all the planets to sync and work out exactly where the crest and the trough of the wave is going to be. So I hope this tutorial helped you to see that there is actually a science behind trading. It's not based on fundamentals. Fundamentals just gives it the energy to move. So look, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video live stream today. Wish you the best of success with your trading. You take care. Speak to you soon.